Welcome back to the final day of TestCon Europe 2023. I know it's almost done already, only a few talks remaining, but we get to start off the day with an absolute banger. A wonderful person, I've been talking to them behind the scenes. Next up, we've got Alexandra Shibarovskaya. I think I done that correctly. Apologies if it wasn't.
Yeah, it almost
I know
was
that?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
You're like, yeah, for a British person, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, we're terrible at pronunciations. But yes, you're the lead Q&A and PM over at JetBrains, and I believe you're here to talk to us about the power of the human and AI collaboration.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, that's right. So I'm Alexandra Pshe. I know it's very difficult to pronounce. And I hope you really enjoy your last day on TestCon. So actually it's my second talk in general on TestCon, and today I'm going to discuss a very hype topic, the power of human and AI collaboration in software testing. So let's start a little bit from myself. I'm Alexandra Pshe, or short version, it's much more easy, Alex Pshe. And yes, I'm a product manager and software developer in test at JetBrains Aqua. JetBrains Aqua, maybe you know, it's a powerful IDE for test automation. And yeah, I'm so deeply dive into testing that I even test the tool for testing. And also, as for AI, I'm very obsessed actually, and I run 5 AI-based pet projects. So usually if I can find any problem that can be solved with AI, I immediately create pet project and trying to launch startup. So yeah, basically that's it. And yeah, as an obsessed person, sometimes it's actually not obvious if someone is still not using AI, because like, yeah, it seems that everyone uses it already. But what about you? Can you please write in the chat your case? If you use OpenAI, actually any AI like ChatGPT, Midjourney, at least once. If you delegate to AI some part of your routine already, maybe 50% or more. If you delegate the most part of your routine, and maybe you don't use AI at all. So yeah, I hope I can see your answers somewhere. Yeah, so actually I conducted the survey, and the results surprised me a lot, that almost 60% of QA don't use AI at all. So it means I can show something here. And my particular case is also very good like showcase, because I did not use AI at all, just when even ChatGPT was launched. But after I started to delegate tasks step by step, from QA manual tasks to QA automation tasks, and then finally to QA leadership tasks and to QA career path tasks. And after that, I achieved really high level of efficiency. And today I'm going to show you how I did it and what particular cases I delegate to AI. So before, I think we can start from theory, because it's really important to understand the final formula, how it works, the collaboration between AI and in general people. So when ChatGPT just was announced, I was at public talk of one scientific journalist, and he told how AI and human collaboration work in biomedicine. And for example, they develop a fully AI-controlled arm, so it works in this way. They found a part of the brain that is responsible for arm movements, and this part usually called as expertise. We have some impulses here, and it's expertise. So after that, they get data on some impulses from the brain and send instruction to the AI-controlled arm. So we have some instruction here. And also they can add some additional information, impulses from other parts of the brain, to add more context related to a particular person. And yeah, this part we can call context. So as a result, we get the power of AI and person collaboration to make like real movements with this arm. So basically we can see here the approach that we can reuse in any sphere, the same for testing. And when we use this formula, we can get the most efficient insights from AI and human collaboration. So it was about like structure, how it works. And right now we can move directly to some terms, because in our like modern world we have a lot of terms with GPT suffix, and sometimes it's quite confusing to understand what does it mean exactly. So let's try a little bit elaborate terms. First of all, we have GPT 3.5. So it's a large language model, I think you know it, and it was trained on terabytes of internet data, and which actually enable artificial intelligence to generate text finally. And GPT-4 has almost like 200 billion parameters that can allow to generate the most relevant output based on input. And as for GPT-4, it's like even more powerful model, which has even more parameters, and the same, it can generate different text output based on input. And we have finally ChatGPT. So the most important thing is that it's not model, so it wasn't trained or something like that, and it is actually AI chatbot. So ChatGPT use GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 based on subscription actually, and yeah, so we can collaborate with ChatGPT as during the dialogue, like as a human. So yeah, it was about terms and the difference between GPT-4 and GPT-3. And finally, if we're talking about ChatGPT, the most important question is how to write these prompts. And I know that not a lot of people actually read the documentation of ChatGPT, but it's very, very useful actually step. And I will show you why right now. We will go through all strategies that ChatGPT suggests to users to generate the most relevant output, and in general to use this power of AI. So the first important thing is write clear instructions. So we have example here, and what does it mean? We can say like generate API test, but it's very bad example because we don't have any information here. Better say generate API test with REST assured with Kotlin Gradle to cover all headers based on Swagger documentation, and we actually can provide the link to Swagger documentation. And in this case, we have a technology, we have programming language, we have builder, and we have even the explanation of API documentation, which of course will reflect on the result. Another very cool strategy that I love to use a lot, it is persona. So when we are talking about persona, it actually means that we try to explain some character, probably some characteristics of this character, like it can be appearance or actions or role or profession and so on. So for example, here I can say like, imagine you are a highly skilled QA automation engineer with 5 years of background in the banking area. And after that, actually, for example, sometimes when I feel very lonely and I don't know who can help me with my problem at work, I can just ask ChatGPT to create a persona who can advise me the solution or who can provide me the third opinion, and it works pretty well. Like, advice is really cool. Yeah, so another type of strategy is use delimiters to indicate inputs, and it's quite important when we have like a big input with different types of requests. For example, we have code, we have some textual explanation, and here I ask fix my auto test that is like separated by special quotes. And we can use not only such delimiters, but also we have a list of possible, and it can affect also the result. And sometimes we can have very complicated strategy or like algorithm how to solve our problem, and it can be divided by different steps. In this case, it's definitely more like useful to split it by different steps and explain, like here, for example, I want to find all variations of the inputs for some input form, and after that I want to make pairwise based on these inputs. So as a result, I will get all possible test combinations using pairwise. Also, sometimes it's quite useful to provide examples, and it's called this type of prompts called few-shot. So, for example, we have a project with different bug priorities, and actually usually bug priorities totally depends on the type of project and in general our product priorities. So here we can provide an example, like for example, performance degradation is high priority for us. Login doesn't work, it's low priority, which actually usually doesn't make any sense because login looks like very important functionality. But here in this particular project, the most important thing is SEO. So performance degradation, SEO tags are missed, is high priority. So based on these examples, actually after that we can ask ChatGPT to like prioritize our bugs without us in general, and it will work pretty well because we provide this like algorithm how to do it. So yeah, it's also one of the possible strategies to use ChatGPT. And sometimes we can also specify requirements. It can be any different metrics. For example, here I asked to generate test passwords with the maximum length is 11 symbols. So yeah, it's a specific metric that also will met after. So it's also just the way how we can use, how we can make our request more specified. And moreover, ChatGPT has very cool playground with examples, and these examples show us what type of task ChatGPT can solve in the best way. So it's very useful to know it before we start any work, any collaboration. So, for example, it can be any type of manipulations with SQL. We have here Postgres SQL tables, two tables with one common column is department ID, and we can ask to generate for us a query to list the names of departments which employed more than 10 employees. So as a result, we will get absolutely working SQL request, and we can just use it. So actually, it also can generate more like complicated requests, and I use it a lot during my work, and it saves so much time actually. So yeah, I'm really happy. Sometimes also, I think this task is quite relevant to QA in general. When you, for example, just join the project, you open first time automated tests, and you realize that you cannot understand like nothing in general. And in this case, you can use also AI to help you to understand the code, because sometimes it looks like someone made it like in a worse way with desire. And yeah, we can get the explanation. For example, I think you cannot even guess what happened here on the screen. And for ChatGPT, it's very easy task. So it can explain us that it's a function with Fibonacci numbers, and step by step it will explain what's happened in this code. So actually right now in some IDEs they already introduced it as an inner feature which can provide explanation directly in editor. So yeah, it's just a feature and you can use already it, but manually with providing requests to ChatGPT. And also we spend a lot of time during the day for some like small things that actually doesn't affect a lot in general our results, but we spend time for it. For example, we made some meeting notes during our daily stand-up, and after that we should send it to work chat, but we spent time to make it like in a normal way, to make some sentence from it, but also you can just ask ChatGPT to prepare from your notes normal sentence and send it to your work chat. Yeah, so, and also, of course, I think everyone already knows it, but we can use ChatGPT in a smart search, and it works really cool. For example, we can ask create a list of questions for junior QA with some particular technology, for some particular stage of interview, and like we will get really cool questions which are absolutely relevant and update with market. So yeah, and yeah, so also we can use ChatGPT as a QA replacement, and for actually finding bugs. We can see here it's a JavaScript example, and there is a bug here. I don't know if you can guess why this function will not work. Yeah, so but it's not so maybe obvious from the beginning, but here we should cast A and B to number, and we can spend at least, I don't know, 10 minutes trying to find where is the problem, but ChatGPT will fix this problem in like 1 second, so also we can use this power. More examples you can find here on OpenAI platform, and I can like highly recommend to do it before, because when I first time observed this page I was so surprised, because I even didn't like know before that you can use ChatGPT in this way. So I can recommend you to do it, and I think it will save you a lot of time. Moreover, they have playground with different like metrics to set up. For example, the maximum length of answer, also temperature of text. It can be like more informal or more formal answer, and a lot of different things to set up. So you can like use it as a real tool to economize your time. And yeah, it was more about documentation and like advices directly from ChatGPT, but how it can be applied to our real QA work. So actually, it can be applied to any task which are the same and they are boring. So that's why maybe sometimes we make them like worse because of human factor, because it seems like not exciting anymore. And also, if there is like nothing new and we're close to burnout, and these tasks already like they don't bring us any positive energy, so also we can just delegate it. And of course, if it's any related task to text, we can always delegate it to ChatGPT, because we don't have enough time for text description, but we know how many tasks in QA we have related to text description. So it's like test plans, the bug description, and all these text-related tasks. So in this case, it's really makes sense to call AI. So when in general algorithm looks like this. First of all, we should describe our task like we would do it to a new colleague, so very detailed, high level, with examples also, like in the most efficient way to help ChatGPT to understand us how we would solve such problem. Also, we should provide some expertise, like some approaches and methods that AI should follow and know before they start to solve our task. Also, it's a context, so it can be examples. For example, if we have already a lot of test cases, we can provide several test cases to show the example, and it will affect very, very much our result. And also sometimes it's very important to clarify the format. For example, we need to output in Markdown or in JSON or in our possible format that we need. And we can start with my personal task that I delegate to AI. So first of all, it's QA manual routine. User stories, designing test cases, and also reporting defects. So, for example, we have this online banking, it's Sberbank, and we have its registration form here, a lot of different inputs about names, address, cities, states, and so on, and after that we can register our user. So I have an acceptance criteria from our business analytics, and there is some acceptance criteria which are actually contradictional, and we can check with ChatGPT if they are okay or not. So after that, ChatGPT will say us that there is two acceptance criteria that have contradiction, and it's regarding the email address field, because in one criteria we said that it's optional field, and in our criteria we said that potential customer should provide email address, it's mandatory field. So it's a contradiction, and ChatGPT will find this contradiction very fast, much more faster than me with my human factor. So it's an example with acceptance criteria. After that, I can ask design a test case for this web page. And you can see that I provide the URL. So it means actually that ChatGPT has access to the DOM file, and that's absolutely true. And after that, I can get real test cases, which absolutely make sense with all fields that were mentioned on the page: username, password, first name, last name, zip code, phone code, SSN also. And we have successful registration test case and required fields validation test case. So also, it's a lot of test cases that it generated. Also, we can add some additional information, also our expertise. Not generated just test cases, but test cases using test design techniques like equivalence partitioning and boundary value. And after that, of course, we will get it. So we have equivalence partitioning test cases here. So for valid username, for invalid username, for valid password, for invalid password. And also we have boundary value test cases here. So it's minimum username length, maximum username length, and it's I provided here only 2 examples, but actually it will be a long list with all possible boundary value for these input fields. So it also economizes my time a lot, because as a human I can make some mistakes just because, I don't know, I didn't sleep well last night. And also, we can say that during testing the page, based on generated acceptance criteria and test cases, I found the bug. The email is required field, but it should be optional. Write a bug report. And after that, we also provide here context, actually, because what we said that it was before, and ChatGPT always keep the history of requests, so we can say it was before. And it's my context. Can you please create a bug based on these previous examples, and it will generate for us bug report. Also, I can provide more detailed mandatory fields for my bug report, but it's just example. So yeah, we have step to reproduce, and they are absolutely right actually. And we have expected result, actual result, and even they try to provide impact for us. And actually, because when I just found this bug, I didn't think about impact a lot. And after I read this bug report, I thought like, yes, actually, it's really cool to think about it also. And the advice was quite good. So we have even recommended solution. So yeah, we have a lot of highlighted points to think about. Also, I delegated to AI my QA automation routine. So it's implementation of automation tests, extending and support automation tests, and CI/CD pipeline. And actually, it was first time I was really shocked because of the results. I can show you. So for example, we can ask write auto test for registration test for our web page Parabank, and we don't provide here any examples or technologies. So auto test generation will be created by default, which can the generation that ChatGPT will suggest us. So it will suggest us to use Chrome, to use hard-coded data, but of course it's not the best practice in test automation. Also locators is by name, yeah. And finally, also we can notice that it is Python for some reason, yeah. But after that, I would like to specify my request and make it more relevant to my project. So I asked to write a UI test with Kotlin and Selenium. You know, it's a framework for UI testing. Also, I want to create, of course, test data generation, not hard-coded data, but generated data using Faker. It's also a library for faking data. And I also want to extract my test data to separate data class, because it's also one of the best practices in QA automation. Of course, I want to use page object pattern, and I want to use a particular format for locators. So it's CSS selector in this format, and it's like example in delimiters. So after that, what I will get locators as I ask in this particular format. Also, I will get a registration page, so it's page object pattern, and we can say also the special class for my fake data, and all of this data were faked with this faker. So even we can see that the methods that it generated, it also very relevant, because for the first name it generated first name method, for zip code method, so for phone number cell phone. So it even understood correctly the type of each fake data. So it means that it economized a lot of time for me. And it was example of auto test generation with expertise, because I provide my expertise. I know all best practices, and I asked to use these best practices, because the first example was was not like production code, but this is more production code. And actually the best thing about this generated code is that it works. So finally, I even have my repository, which I will provide you after, and all these generated examples are work perfectly. So also I ask separate it into different classes, because after it generated, I recognize that it's a lot of code in one class. So we need to separate it to different classes, and also we should to create a package structure. So also I ask to suggest what package structure to add these classes. and they suggest me packet structure. We know it's like a typical one for Kotlin tests. And after that, I can say, and because I got actually error with the faker, I tried to run this code, but it doesn't work, and it failed with compilation error because of faker, and it's undefined. Yeah, and of course, it will suggest me like, yeah, sorry that I didn't suggest you before, but actually you should add to your build Gradle file library with faker. And after I add it, so it works. Yeah, and it's just example how you can build like a long dialogue with ChatGPT. So after that, I also asked to extend my new auto tests with equivalence partitioning test cases that were mentioned before. And also I asked write each new method as a separated message, because in this case it's more convenient for me to copy it to my code directly. And yeah, so after that I got all my generated automated tests based on previous generated test cases, and I had my results. So it's like final example, it's example of auto test generation based on test cases from the context plus expertise, so everything together according to the previous formula that we discussed already before. Yeah, and finally we also have our QA leadership routine, and yeah, actually I love this part because ChatGPT is very like sometimes really provide you a third opinion that can be like even pretend to be objective. So for example, when I was just promoted to a QA lead position and I never did it before, I can ask like what should I do actually, and it's actually like it's a difficult question, and yeah, he can advise me like you should understand your role, responsibilities, learn about application domain, build relationships, set clear expectations. And it can be obvious for a lot of people, but I know that it's not like sometimes we forget about this important part. And yeah, I can discuss with ChatGPT what's the best steps I can do based on my particular situation with my number of QA in my team, with my current management, and so on. Also, when I was trying to understand what is the best, yeah, so also, yeah, sometimes the question with metrics, it's also tough questions for QA lead beginners, because we don't have a lot of information about like which the best metrics to start. So we can say like I'm QA lead, I want to set up quality metrics to analyze dynamic between releases and testing states, and I can say that my target application is online bank with current below functionality like data transferring. And after that we can get possible suggested list of metrics like defects, test coverage, test case effectiveness, and also mean time to detect. And we can like provide more information to get like to prioritize the most important metrics right now. Of course, also sometimes if you're like a beginner QA lead, you have a lot of merge requests for review. So in this case, we can also ask to review our merge request AI. And actually, it's quite useful because yeah, with human factor, it's really difficult sometimes to notice some small things, but a review with AI is just the perfect thing. So we can see here, I provide my real code, and I didn't even notice that this mistake with credentials, it's really high priority and it's really dangerous, but I didn't notice it for some reason, and just because of human factor. And AI immediately highlighted it, and yeah, it's quite useful to know. Yeah, using AI for merge requests, it's a killer feature. Also, sometimes we can design a test strategy, and as I already mentioned, we have a lot of text-related tasks in QA, so testing strategy, test plans is also part of these tasks. So we can get at least the structure of testing strategy. For online banking app, we have stack with Laravel, PHP, and we have also requirement about level of testing, that should be system. And here we can get results, like what we should do, which tools we should use for our stack. And actually PHP unit, yeah, I can only suggest that it's the best option for current stack. And yeah, so also we can use for such tasks AI. And people management, for example, any algorithms regarding performance review for QA engineers, we can say we have a team, includes 3 manual QA, 2 automation engineers, QA lead, and we would like to get some transparent metrics which are easy to calculate. And in this case, also we can get like test coverage and execution metrics, bug discovery, resolution metrics, and so on. So after we can also clarify like how to calculate these particular metrics. And last type of task I would like to mention, because I use it a lot, it's career path, it's salary promotion, it's a search for a new job, and also it's interview preparation. So for example, when I just relocated to Europe, I didn't know anything about salaries and which level are normal, which level are like a little bit low. So I can ask like, my current salary is, for example, 60K, and I can say like my last achievements for last year are like I implemented 100 new auto tests. I also extended knowledge base with articles. I did this, and this. And I live in such country. Can you provide me like some suggestion based on possible promotion? So yeah, I can tell you like it's okay to ask promotion for 10% or for 20%, and also you can ask like what is the best way to start this conversation? What should I do? Maybe I should prepare some presentation or something. And it works really cool because it even provides you the best way, like how to speak about it in general. So it's also cool. Also, you can improve your CV, and it's a killer feature for me also, because we know that for IT people sometimes it's difficult to prepare the list regarding some real achievements, because like we don't know a lot how to present ourselves. And we have a really cool request to ChatGPT with formula how to do it. And after that, we can also add our current CV and get like new regenerated CV with results in numbers, which is really important. And based on, for example, this formula, we even created like a product, I would say, like a special product that can provide improvements for CV. And behind it, of course, it's ChatGPT. Also, as for interview preparation, sometimes we can use, we can ask ChatGPT to prepare questions and even possible answers. And I had my personal story several times when I didn't have enough time to be prepared for interview. Just 1 hour before, I asked ChatGPT, like, I have such CV, this is the company for interview, and it will be like HR screening. Can you please prepare possible questions and possible answers based on my CV? And after that, I use it like as a like some help for me, and it works really well because it was so efficient, and at the same time I had the high level structure. So yeah, we can ask to about yes, here we use actually persona. So we ask, like, imagine that you are interviewer at the top IT company for the position QA automation for some technologies, Cypress plus JavaScript, and it's a technical interview. Maximum time is 1.5 hours, and ask step-by-step questions as an interviewer and try to find the depth of knowledge, wait for a separated input message from candidate. So after that, this dialogue will be a real interview. So it's the best way to actually to prepare before interview, just to emulate the real interview and to get like for free several mock interviews. So it's really cool. And also we can ask providing feedback and just improve our answers. And also based on this prompt, we created also a product, and it's very cool that we can reuse different strategies and to separate it into separated product, just to use it in the most efficient way. So to conclude what I said in general, I would say that for me personally, AI has a significant impact on my life, and I try to calculate it. Of course, it's not like a real big experiment with a big amount of data, but still I tried to analyze how much time I spent before and right now, and I think in general for QA tasks, in the worst case, it economizes at least twice my time. In terms of QA automation tasks, it economizes a lot of time because of generated code, because how it's fast, because how fast I get my code can be fixed. So it's about like 4 time. And as for QA leadership tasks, I think it's more tough question, because you should know how to use it in the right way to get the most efficient result, but still it's about twice improvements. So I would say in general that right now I save a lot of time and I feel that I can do more and more tasks during the day. So the main point of my talk actually was that of course we have a lot of like bad news or scary news about possible AI replacement, and I think that actually it will not happen, because if we can build our skill of AI and QA collaboration, and we can see that people already do it in different spheres in biomedicine also, so we can just use the power of this collaboration, and we will be like always competitive on our market. So the main formula is expertise plus instruction plus context plus AI. So if you want to find all prompts that I mentioned, you can follow this QR code, and also I added my personal links there, so you can find all important information. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, I would like to answer them.